Visualizations nowadays surround us in print or in screen, and some of these include misleading or misrepresenting visuals. Whether this is done to mislead purposefully or whether it is a genuine mistake due to inadequate and uninformed visual design choices, erroneous data visualizations have an impact on their audiences. Visualization literacy is becoming an increasingly important topic of discussion within our community. But how can we educate the general masses about data visualization? Learning through play is used in education and psychology to describe how a child can learn about the world with the help of and also through playing. In this work, we explored the option of providing an engaging way to educate the public about visual representations through gamification. Although not as profound and intensive as taking a visualization course, an educational game on visualization is much more accessible and digestible for laymen of all ages and all backgrounds. It provides an affordable, easy, and simple way of educating the general population about basic visual representations and visual designs, about how to interpret them, and how to employ visuals in an informed way. The contribution of our work is the conceptualization of a taxonomy-driven model for designing educational games in visualization. It can be employed in various educational visualization settings, such as visualization courses or self-education activities. Our concept is based on the idea that through gamification, our audiences can learn more about the basic principles of visual design, understand better their use and meaning, and harvest their effectiveness and expressiveness, in case they would design their visualizations themselves. Our concept prioritizes the audience's edutainment, where game players learn through interactive group playing, gain new knowledge on visual representations and their design, and are rewarded for their acquired knowledge by winning the game. To specify the learning goals that should be achieved by the proposed educational game, we employ Bloom's taxonomy of educational objectives. This taxonomy classifies the cognitive domain in 6 different levels of objectives, which we also adopt for our game design. A principle that we explore in this work is the idea of construction versus deconstruction. By considering the visualization design process as a data-driven problem-solving task involving different variables to take into account, we propose a twofold model for designing educational games in visualization based on the idea of deconstruction and construction. Reading the model from left to right describes the process of construction, while reading the model from right to left describes deconstruction. The core of our model comprises visualization taxonomies for the data user's task categorization, the visualization variables, and the visualization vocabulary. The deconstruction part starts from a finalized visualization, drilling down to its components. In the deconstruction model, the players learn how to identify characteristics of visualization, such as recognizing that a pie chart is composed of slices that indicate quantities, to distinguish and associate characteristics to requirements, such as understanding that the slices of a pie chart are used to represent numerical proportions encoded to their arc lengths, and to infer visualization requirements, such as understanding that the pie chart is used when we want to illustrate our data as proportions of a whole. An example of our deconstruction model is the game Guess Viz. I'm sure that most of you played the game Guess Who when you were kids. Here we follow a similar approach. We have sliding cards depicting a visualization on the top layer and its characteristics on the bottom layer. In this bottom layer, visual hints and the chart name are presented regarding the data, users, tasks, visual variables, and visualization vocabulary involved. The dual layer card design allows players to retrieve information on demand. Legend cards support the explainability of the encodings. The game goal is that each player must guess what visualization was given to the other players through asking questions about the visualization. The mechanism works as follows. The players ask questions to exclude bad candidates of the visualization until one of the players correctly guesses it. The construction game composes visualizations bottom-up. In the construction model, the players learn how to define visualizations, such as to describe a pie chart and its characteristics, to compare different visualizations and their characteristics, for example, to compare that a pie chart is a parts to a whole visualization, while a bar chart is a ranking visualization, and to evaluate visualization design choices, such as assessing whether a pie chart is appropriate for representing given data. An example of our construction model is the game From A to V's. Players use the legend cards to build bottom-up a visualization that fulfills all the dimensions of the visual design space by picking its data, users, tasks, visual variables, and visualization vocabulary characteristics. The goal of the game is to compose the highest number of visualizations meeting the visualization requirements to win. The game mechanism is to associate visualization characteristics with specific visualization requirements to compose a visualization which the other players evaluate. In this game, learners are challenged in finding an appropriate combination of visualization characteristics matching a variety of visualization requirements. Let's look at a game course example. In Guess This, Anna picks a visualization card with a pie chart, which Beth must guess. Beth asks Anna questions such as, is your visualization representing nominal data? Or is your visualization a ranking chart? To exclude visualizations which do not match with the information collected from the Guess This board. During this process, Anna can slide the card up to receive more information about the visualization card at hand, easing the progress of the game. The legend cards are used as visual aids or legend. The more questions are asked, the number of good candidate visualizations becomes smaller, making it easier to identify the target visualization. The game ends when Beth correctly guesses that Anna picked a pie chart. In From A to V's, Charlie is asked to pick a number of legend cards, so one from each color, meaning one from each design space dimension. Charlie wants to build a visualization for querying a part-to-whole within ratio data that can be used by non-expert users and that employs area as the main visual variable. Among the available sliding cards, the one that satisfies all the previous requirements is a pie chart. If Charlie identifies this as a solution to the requirements, they can verify its correctness by looking at its bottom layer. For the correctly identified visualization, Charlie gains points. This game can be played individually or with more people. In the latter case, the player with the highest amount of points wins. For our game design, we took into account the concept of constructivism, according to which knowledge is not acquired passively, but follows rather an active, contextualized learning process. We also employ the construction principle, which allows us to use the same material for a twofold game. Interaction and experience are achieved in our game through an edutainment process which follows the lines of learning by doing or playing, and also goes along with the concept of scaffolding in teaching, where players or learners can build upon the previous steps of acquired knowledge. A guided independent learning curve is sought, and each player can determine the level of knowledge they want to achieve. By peer reviewing the design choices involved over the game course, the players are required to actively participate in every game phase and to develop critical thinking about the visualization design. The cards can also serve as flashcards, which may be employed for acquiring or reinforcing knowledge about the primary representation as illustrated on the top layer of each card. Our proof of concept game can be extended to cover specific applications. It can be used in data science courses, for example, to learn about the use and the encodings of visual representations, or it can be used by graphical designers who are designing infographics for broad audiences. Our first direction for future work would be the validation with broader audiences from different backgrounds and different age groups. If you would like to play with us and help us test our game, contact us.